Okay, some major breaking news about Starbucks this morning. The company just announced it is now laying off 900 non-retail employees, corporate employees, 900 of them losing their jobs, in addition to a cut of 1% of all stores, coffee shops across the country. Kind of shocking news for us here in Seattle, because we also just learned that the two roasteries in town, the one at the main world headquarters down the street, also is closing. And the roastery in Seattle's Capitol Hill had a note on the door this morning saying employees are heartbroken to announce that they are closing the roastery. This has been a relatively popular spot for people that are really interested in coffee, who also want to get their lattes and things like that. It's a little more fancy version of a Starbucks coffee shop. But a stunning announcement from Starbucks as it announces these layoffs on top of 1,100 jobs already cut by this new CEO. The company clearly trying to tighten its business operations to save money. We'll see how this all plays out, but 900 employees to Starbucks losing their jobs and 1% of stores closing.
I have some really good news. Remember this dude, Ryan Waters, the superintendent of Oklahoma schools, who requested $3 million to purchase Trump Bibles for the schools and then mandated that the 10 Commandments be in every Oklahoma school? Well,
I'll be stepping down as Oklahoma State superintendent.
Do you know why he's stepping down? It wasn't for reading the Trump Bible, but it was for looking at adult content at a board meeting.
I feel like the Trump presidency is over. I don't think anyone takes him seriously anymore. After the last few days, Tylenol causes autism, him speaking and just saying crazy stuff, going to the UN, angry about an escalator, angry that his own staff doesn't know how to set up a teleprompter, angry last night about ABC, about Jimmy Kimmel, about this, about that. He sounds like a 5-year-old child, just complaining about everything. I'm not getting my way. I'm not having any fun here. And when he's not getting his way and he's not having any fun, he just whines and complains. And it's just, who's going to take this guy seriously anymore? No one at the UN, countries around the world, they don't take him seriously anymore. And who listens to him here? Someone that's talking about Tylenol causing autism, and he's talking like he knows what he's talking. I just think the president has jumped the shark. I think the president has jumped the shark already, and I think it's nothing but downhill from here, and I think it's over. Let me know what you think. Like and follow for more.
I'm about to shit a literal brick right now. I'm at Food Lion. These prices are fucking insane. Boneless beef chuck steak, $82.99. 0.83, $99.99 a pound. Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. That's fucking insane. Hey, I got a question. Is this for real? Like, me and my husband are arguing over it to see if that's a legit price or is it messed up. I know they went up on meat like hardcore, but I was like, is that real?
I mean, I'm not really,
right.
It seems a little high to me.
That does. Well, see, there's like 3 or 4 of them over there that are all $80-something.
I guess it must be. I mean,
Shit.
I don't work in.
I know prices is high, but damn.
They're not saying it out loud, but they don't trust us anymore. When countries like the UK, Canada, and Australia recognize Palestine without waiting for the US, that's not just diplomacy. That's a breakup. And if you know your history, America used to be the one calling the shots. So let's be clear, the UK, Canada, and Australia didn't just wake up one day and suddenly find their conscience. They've always played it safe on Israel-Palestine affairs, following US lead, and nodding along to peace talks backing the billions in aid. The vetoes, the silence, that just changed. These countries are done pretending, because the genocide is no longer deniable. The footage, the airstrikes, the starvation, it's everywhere. And they know that standing behind the US means standing in front of war crimes. So they chose a side. Not a perfect one, not a radical one, but one that publicly says Palestine exists. And in 2025, that's still a line that the US refuses to cross. Not because they can't, but because they won't. This isn't the first time the US's image is cracked. It happened in Vietnam, in Iraq, in the years after 9/11, when torture was renamed as enhanced interrogation. And every time our allies just looked the other way, because America was too big to challenge. But now, America's slipping. We're not the only superpower anymore. And we've spent decades using freedom like a smokescreen, arming dictators, silencing whistleblowers, surveilling journalists, and criminalizing dissent at home. So when these countries recognize Palestine, they're not just standing for human rights. They're distancing themselves from a country whose mask is falling. And fast. The global shift away from U.S.'s moral leadership isn't just about Palestine, though. It's about everybody who's ever looked at America and just seen hypocrisy. From Flint to Gaza. From Standing Rock to Sudan. From HBCUs getting bomb threats. To journalists getting silenced for saying ceasefire. America isn't losing credibility because of bad PR. We're losing it because people are watching. And they're realizing that the emperor has no ethics. And now, even the emperor's friends are stepping back. When the U.S. said nothing as bombs fell on children, the world took notes. When the U.S. called it defense, everyone else called it genocide. And now the same nations that once whispered behind closed doors are signing declarations in broad daylight. Because America didn't just fall from grace. We jumped. Free Palestine.
People, hello lovely people, it's Anthony again, and I'm chilling here in the park today. It's an amazing noon, and it's a nice thing having you here watching my videos. You really mean a lot to me. So today we are discussing about how America has been destroyed after Trump took office. So you saw Starbucks has closed. Starbucks has closed their operations, and it has led to massive layoffs. So when you look at the job numbers, what has been happening in our country of late, they have been declining. Even though Trump claimed that he would lower the unemployment rates, he would create jobs, he would bring manufacturing here in our country. Companies are running away. Hyundai left, Subaru left. Ford is planning to move on to Canada. John Deere is planning to move on to Mexico, which some people are jokingly claiming that it will be called Juan Deere, not John, Juan Deere.
Hi, my name is Aaron Baker. I'm a high school social studies teacher in Oklahoma, and this is one of two God Bless the USA Bibles that was sent to me by State Superintendent Ryan Walters. And after months of claiming that one of these Bibles was going to be in every Oklahoma classroom, two finally arrived at my school with my name on it, specifically because I teach AP U.S. Government and Politics. Now, I don't want to talk today about the issue of Bibles in classrooms. If you want to see a catalog of my World Religions library in my classroom, you can see a previous video about that. I want to talk about this Bible in particular. When I first received this Bible, the first thing that struck me was that it was very generic, leather-bound, King James version of the Bible, just like I grew up with, probably owned a dozen or more in my lifetime. It's not a study Bible. There's no in-text commentary. There's nothing unique about the version in and of itself. The only thing that is quote-unquote special about this Bible is that in the back, when I was a kid, where the maps used to be, is where we find a letter from the Greenwood, followed by the Declaration of Independence, followed by the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the Pledge of Allegiance, and then a place for notes. As I was looking through, I came across the Constitution, and since I teach government, I was interested in the presentation. As I mentioned, the Bill of Rights is listed here as well, although the Bill of Rights are part of the Constitution. And then if the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution are mentioned, and then that is directly followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, something became apparent to me. One could say that parts of the Constitution are missing, particularly amendments 11 through 27. But you could also make the argument that this is the wrong Constitution, in fact. The Constitution in this Bible contains what's called the Three-Fifths Compromise, which was summarily removed by the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which abolished slavery in the United States. The 14th Amendment is also missing from this Constitution, and that is where we get the due process of law. This is not an accident. This is an incomplete, at best, constitution that's in this Bible, and it's a dishonest constitution, and it's not the constitution that I teach in my classroom. I believe that this firmly indicates that we are exiting a stage of Maga revisionist history where the message is that slavery was not that bad, and we are firmly entering into one of the final stages of MAGA revisionist history, and that is that slavery never existed. And that's what appears to happen in this Constitution, in this Bible, because the original articles of the Constitution does not use the word slavery. The 13th Amendment has a direct reference, and if you are trying to rewrite history, leaving those amendments out will help make that point. This is very concerning, and I wanted to raise the alarm on the fact that this kind of blatant revisionist history is being pushed into our schools in Oklahoma, and it needs to stop.
Arrested. Another Republican arrested, and this one is alarming. This Republican judge from the Carolinas, South Carolina, this is very disturbing. James B. Gosnell Jr. has been arrested, and this one is for PDF charges with prepubescent, literally toddlers. You heard me correctly. This Republican South Carolina magistrate judge is no stranger to news. He has been suspended for using racial slurs, and now they are asking the public to come forward. If you have ever been in the presence of this Republican magistrate who has now been suspended, you heard me correctly. The PDF files that they have are very disturbing, and they are asking you to contact police if you have been around this judge. Another Republican arrested. Shameful and disgusting. Always the Republicans. Drop a comment below.
At this point, grocery shopping feels like a hostile takeover of my bank account. Every single time I walk into a grocery store these days, I start breaking out into hot sweats before I even hit the produce section. It's like anxiety got its own grocery list, you know? You walk in there like, okay, I just need a few things. That's how you walk in. But it requires you to think about which bills you can accidentally forget to pay this month. I used to love Spam. I used to love tuna. Now I walk past both of them like they're a toxic ex. But I still think about them sometimes, knowing they're not good for me, you know? Or my bank account. Don't even get me started on the snacks, because y'all have heard me talk about that before. Listen, I don't need snacks. I don't need them, but treats are so high now, I feel like I have to finance them to have them. I'm asking, can we get a payment plan, layaway or something for a box of cookies maybe? At this point, it's ridiculous. It's honestly beyond ridiculous for some of it, and it's going to get more expensive. I be in the store staring at the price tag like it's some type of math problem that I'm supposed to figure out. If chips are $5.99 today, and they go up, the price goes up every Tuesday, what's the likelihood that you'll be able to afford them next month? Answer? None. So now, instead of shopping for what I want, I shop for what won't make me cry at the cash register. It's depressing. No, it's not just me, right? What's the one thing you used to buy, but now you walk past it like, not today, Satan?
Jesse Walters has resigned, the Oklahoma State Superintendent, the Maga, great Maga supporter. If you are a teacher from New York, from California, and you wanted a teaching job in Oklahoma, you had to recite another of allegiance to Donald Trump. According to Ryan Walters, that's what he needed people to do. It was really bad, and this led to Oklahoma education to be really poor, and to be ranked lowest in our country. They were almost 50 in everything: healthcare, infrastructure, anything. These are Republican red states. They are called what? I don't know. Blue states are called donor states. The red states are called, I don't know. Tell me in the comments. Those are blue states, I don't know. Donor states. I don't know about these other states. This other lady was claiming that grocery shopping in our country has become extremely expensive. It's unaffordable. Grocery shopping in our country are becoming unaffordable in our country at the moment.
All right, so please hang out with me and just take a breath for a second. Hegseth has called a meeting of all military senior leaders next week. And there are a couple of reasons why he could be doing this, and I'm going to walk you through some of them, okay? One reason is he could ask all of these leaders for a pledge of loyalty to Donald Trump instead of the Constitution. And if they don't give that pledge, he could have them fired or arrested. And when you hear that and you go like, holy shit, it's all over, they're going to take over the military. In order for me to believe that, which I don't, I would have to believe that every other leader and military person underneath them was going to just roll over if their leaders got arrested or fired. And that's not the case. Because let me be clear about this. Our entire military, especially the officers, especially the leaders from top to bottom, are trained in military history and are trained in the UCMJ, are trained in the Constitution. And the higher up they go, the better off they're trained. And they are trained against enemies foreign and domestic. And if you don't think in the back of their minds that they have thought about this or this coming down the pipe in some way, you would be wrong. The previous time that Trump was, running the country, military leaders were aware of this and they were preparing for this. They understood this was a possibility. During Biden's administration, when Milley gave that speech, "We do not answer to a king," they were preparing for this. When Biden said, "Remember your oath," they were preparing for this. So this is something that's been in the back of a lot of people's minds, a lot of military personnel's minds for multiple years. It was something you hoped would never really happen, but you knew it was there because it does say "end domestic." And so they are prepared for that. And they're also prepared to do what they have to do if that is the case. If military leaders start getting fired and there's a pledge of loyalty, that becomes a domestic enemy. And you can't tell me that the entire military is just going to suddenly roll over in all of these units, right? And some people will say like, oh, look how veterans voted in 2024. Okay, I'll look at how veterans voted. And it was like 67% that voted for Trump. But I'll also look at the fact that 50% of post 9/11 veterans voted for Kamala Harris. I'll also point you to the fact that the VA has been decimated, right? They have had military members rolling out red carpets for Putin. They put on a military parade where the military was not having that. They had flyovers where for like the first time in history, the flyover was delayed because the military was sending a message. They had to pass over 38 4-star generals to find a retired 3-star general to be his chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They fired the leader of the DIA for doing his job and giving the assessment of his agency. They fired him for doing his job. And if you think that sent a bunch of feel-good vibes throughout the military, it did not. They understood that this guy was getting fired for telling the truth, which is what you were trained to do in the military. That did not go over well. Hegseth is a running meme. There are articles about this. He's a running meme inside the military, okay? The support of the military is not there for this administration. And so Trump and his cronies may be being told that, like, hey, you can take over the military anytime you want. You just say so. They're being told that, like he's being told everything else. Everything is inflated. People love you. You know, you have 90% approval rating, all this bullshit. When you look around the country, historically low approval ratings, right? People do not dig his act. Farmers don't dig his act. Business owners are not digging his act. We are not digging his act. Prices are going up. Pay is staying the same, which is shitty as it is. None of these things play into his favor, but he's probably being told different. So that is an option where he says, hey, now's my time. I can go do this. I don't have to worry about Epstein anymore because I have control of the military. I have control of the country. Great. That is an option that they are thinking about. And he's probably being told to consider because he is living on a bed of lies. And so please be aware of that. There's another possibility in there as well where, and if you see this build up and up and up over multiple days, it's a trigger. There's nothing they like to do more than trigger the libs. And even though they know they can't pull this off and they could say like, hey, military, you're mine, do whatever you want, you know, martial law, fire all the leaders and all this bullshit, it's mine. They could give you that impression so that, you know, some people who are not aware are shitting their pants. And that's part of their game. And it always has been, if you remember, it always has been the bluster, right? So that's another option as well. And both of these options take breath away, space away from the Jeffrey folders, right? Absolutely. I think the House just canceled a couple days worth of votes where it could have come up with our new representative from Arizona, where they could have gone ahead and passed that discharge and got that ball rolling. So they canceled a couple votes instead, right? Like, that is front and center. And I think even part of this, you know, if he's going to go down this road of not just trying to trigger people, but he's going to go down this road, I think some of that, you know, he may have been blending in this whole, like, hey, suddenly I'm supportive of Ukraine. Suddenly I don't want Israel to take the West Bank. And that has happened very recently, right? Like, so he's trying to do this little goodwill and like, hey, I'm a great guy. You should support me as I try to take over the country. If he goes option A, and it's not just trying to trigger people, if he goes option A, it will not go well for him. And domestic. All right. And you may see for the first time ever in United States history, the military remove a leader. Because they're not going to roll over. You would have to ask every member of the military to roll over. Some would. Some, like the diehard guys would, probably lower ranks, they would. Okay. Some. Okay. You're going to have a metric shit ton whose families have been affected by his policies and these broken promises and what he has done and the ridicule that he has put upon the military. And they are going to react in a different way. And most importantly, because they took an oath. And you may think that's nothing and it's just bullshit, but it's not. It's not. And for the leaders above them, it's not. And so I ask you to think about that. They're going to make you absolutely, you know, they're going to try to make you go crazy with all this bullshit, but take a breath. Okay. One thing I will say is if this is the only place you get news, especially with the executive order about TikTok sale, if this is the only place you get news, please go to, like, you know, Red Ocean or Substack, somewhere else, and get your news there. All right. That is something I would look at. Reuters, BBC. If you're not following BBC, please follow BBC. Okay. AP, some of those are still valid. ABC, sketchy as fuck. CBS, more sketchy. But please, don't lose your cool. And if shit goes sideways, there's things that we can do. Stop working. Start heading to DC. All of us. Just stop working and go. Your life will be better by heading there and us all taking care of this instead of slowly just, you know, sliding into the abyss. So take a breath. I know you'll see this stuff about decapitating the military and it's all going to doom and gloom. Please take a breath. Okay? If you watch all this, I appreciate it. All right? We are not there yet. So take a breath. Understand what is happening, but be ready. Okay? Just in case. But this will not go the way he thinks if he's trying to pull off what he might be. It will not. So please have faith in the military. Please have faith in the leaders, all of these brothers and sisters who have been bonded over decades of conflicts with each other, not with him, and to the Constitution, and to the UCMJ. Okay? All right, thanks.
Remember how for the last, like, 10 years, liberals were, like, these, like, blue, purple-haired, you know, barista, soy boy, weak, pathetic, whiny, like, need a safe room people? Remember how it was that? And now, all of a sudden, apparently, the left is a bunch of, like, jack-booted, like, militia terrorizing evil force. Which one is it? Which one is it? Are we a bunch of, like, weak, baby, whiny bitches? Or are we, like, stormtroopers that you're terrified of because we're so evil and so violent and so scary? I can't keep up with your lies. And it's so enraging that we are all being attacked relentlessly by our own government when we're just people. The majority of the left are not either one of those things. The majority of the left are just, I live in a fucking neighborhood in Atlanta. Like, I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm a fucking, you know, white suburban, like, dummy, regular mom. I'm not a fucking any of those things. And I'm being attacked by my own government. And I'm not even getting the worst of it because I am this color. My black and brown friends have it way worse and have always had it way worse. My gay friends have it way worse and have always had it way worse. I'm so sick of this. It is so beyond crazy that we have normalized our own government attacking us. What the fuck? Get your story straight. Are we scary or are we weenies? Which one?
The rest of the world, is sidelining us every day. You saw Poland gave China a go ahead to this to construct. I don't know if it's to develop this trading route through Poland to Europe. You saw China was given a go ahead by Task to continue with this construction. You saw Australia is it's like it's siding with China at the moment. It's thinking about it. Trump told Europe to cease buying a Russian oil without giving them a mass cheap alternative. He wants them to destroy the economy, but Europe is giving him a middle finger because you saw the other day there was this revelation that US has been buying uranium worth millions of US dollars from Russia. So it's rules for thee, but not for me. So Canada, UK, France, Australia too, Russia, China decided to recognize the state of Palestine. And despite US, Israel, and maybe another small country, I don't know from where, decided not to. So it's really bad what's happening in our country. I don't know what's wrong with our country at the moment. We have been sidelined from the rest of the world, and maybe in the future, countries are aligning themselves. They are becoming resilient. They are trying to make their economies more secure from US tariffs, from US trade barriers, and from US dollar. It's really bad what's happening right now. So hello everyone, thank you for reaching the end of this video. It's amazing you have been good to me. Give me your thoughts in the comments so that we can discuss with other viewers, and I can give even my feedback. You know, I like these discussions. I can spend even a whole week discussing with you about these topics. It's amazing. So tell me your thoughts about Pitex said commanding all military leaders around the world to meet at Virginia. Tell me your thoughts about that, because I saw a commentator claiming that that's what Adolf Hitler did in 1935. So give me your thoughts. Are we really preparing for a war when Donald Trump claimed that he will lead peace, peace through strength? I don't know, something like that. So tell me, is summoning all military commanders at the back in US really a bad precedent, or what does it mean? I saw even other people claiming that this is setting up one of our military bases for an attack. I don't know. So tell me your thoughts about that in the comment section. Tell me about your thoughts on the direction our country is taking, and tell me your general thoughts about what the videos have been emphasizing on.